Hey there, and welcome back to English Unlocked, your go-to podcast for deep dives into fascinating topics while boosting your English skills. I'm Marco, and today we're exploring a question that's surprisingly thought-provoking. Should we feel guilty about killing bugs?
Yes, you heard that right. From the tiny mosquito buzzing around your ear to the spider spinning its web in the corner. Insects are all around us. But how do we handle them when they invade our space? Do we swat them without a second thought? Or do we stop and think, am I doing the right thing?
It's a question that might make you pause, right? Many of us don't give it much thought, but today, Katharina and I are going to dive deep into this topic. Is killing bugs really justified, or are we overlooking their importance in our ecosystem? And most importantly, should we feel guilty for doing so?
We'll be unpacking everything from the role of insects in nature to whether their lives hold the same value as other animals or even our own. So if you're ready to think critically and have a meaningful conversation, grab your headphones and join us for this thought-provoking episode.
Let's get started. So, Katharina, when we see bugs in our homes, we often kill them right away. But why do we do that? It seems automatic, right?
Yeah, it's because bugs are seen as pests. Mosquitoes bite, ants invade, and cockroaches carry disease. We think it's necessary to get rid of them for our safety.
That's true, but don't bugs also play an important role in nature? Bees, for example, help pollinate plants, which we need for food.
Exactly, and spiders eat insects like flies. If we kill them, we could end up with more bugs, which might cause more problems for us.
So, it's all connected, right? Bugs help keep balance in the environment. Without them, many animals would struggle to find food.
Yes, and killing them with chemicals can hurt the environment too. The insecticides we use can pollute the soil and water, affecting other creatures.
That's why we should think about other methods, like using natural repellents or trapping them and letting them go outside.
Exactly. Small changes like that can protect both us and the environment. We don't always have to kill bugs.
But sometimes it feels necessary, especially when we're dealing with dangerous pests. How do we balance that?
I think it's about being mindful. We can take action when we need to, but also consider non-harmful options first.
Right. It's about making choices that respect nature. We don't have to be perfect, but we can be more thoughtful. Every small choice we make adds up, whether it's using fewer chemicals or being more mindful of how we treat insects. These decisions matter. It's about progress, not perfection.
And it's about leading by example. If more people start making these conscious choices, we could see a shift in how society views and treats bugs and nature as a whole.
So, Katharina, sometimes it's hard to make the right choice, especially when a bug is causing a problem right in front of us. Like, when ants invade your kitchen, it's hard not to just grab the spray, right?
Definitely, but maybe we could try something else first. For example, did you know that vinegar or lemon can keep ants away? It's simple and doesn't harm the environment.
I had no idea. That's such a great idea. It's natural and doesn't involve chemicals. What other alternatives could we try?
Well, for mosquitoes, citronella candles are a great option. They keep them away without killing them. Or you could try essential oils like lavender or eucalyptus. They act as natural repellents.
That's awesome. So it's not always about killing the bugs, but finding ways to peacefully coexist with them. But what about situations where bugs are really dangerous, like ticks or mosquitoes that carry diseases?
That's where it gets tricky. If we're at risk for something like malaria or Lyme disease, we might need to take more serious action. But even then, there are alternatives like bug nets or wearing protective clothing.
Right. Prevention seems like the best way to go. Instead of waiting to kill the mosquito, we can stop them from getting close in the first place. But how do we handle bugs that just seem to appear out of nowhere?
It's true. Sometimes they seem to appear out of thin air. But that's when it's helpful to keep your home sealed up. Make sure there are no cracks or gaps where they can sneak in.
I never thought about it that way. It's not just about dealing with the bugs we see, but preventing them from coming in. That's a better long-term solution.
Exactly. And it's also about changing how we see bugs. Instead of thinking of them as annoying, we can start seeing them as part of nature. Most bugs are just doing their job. They're not out to get us.
That's true. If we stop seeing them as the enemy, we might be more willing to find peaceful ways to handle them. Like using a jar to trap a spider and move it outside instead of just killing it.
Yes, and think about it, if we were in their position, we wouldn't want to be killed either, right? It's all about empathy.
I like that perspective. Empathy can change how we treat not just bugs, but all creatures. Maybe by being kinder to them, we're also becoming kinder to the world around us.
Absolutely, and it's a small change that can have a big impact. If more people start thinking this way, it could help protect the environment and create a better balance in nature.
You know, Katharina, sometimes when I think about how we kill bugs, I wonder if we're also being a bit unfair. I mean, we only see them as pests because they're small and different from us. If they were bigger, maybe we'd think twice before swatting them away.
That's an interesting thought. If bugs were as big as, say, a dog, we'd probably have a much different view of them. We might even consider them a part of the family. But because they're small, we don't see them as important. It's all about perspective, isn't it?
Exactly. It makes me wonder how we view other creatures in the world. For example, some people eat insects as food, especially in certain cultures. They see bugs as a source of nutrition. It's fascinating how our views can change depending on the situation.
It's true. And eating insects is actually better for the environment than raising livestock. Bugs require less land, water, and food to grow. So in a way, bugs can even help reduce our impact on the planet. We just need to change how we think about them.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. I guess we've been conditioned to think of bugs as dirty or dangerous, but they could actually be a part of a solution to some of the world's bigger problems.
That's right, and it's not just about food. Bugs also help break down organic material like dead plants and animals. They recycle nutrients back into the soil, which helps new plants grow. Without them, our environment would struggle to stay balanced.
So, if we take a step back, it's clear that bugs are really important. But how do we get people to understand this? How do we shift the mindset from kill the bug to respect the bug?
I think it starts with education. People need to learn about the roles insects play in nature. If we teach kids that bugs help the environment, maybe they'll grow up with a better understanding of how everything is connected. It's about making these small creatures feel more valuable.
That makes sense. If we can teach the next generation to appreciate bugs, we might see a big change in how they treat them. But what about the people who just don't care or are afraid of bugs? How do we reach them?
It's a challenge for sure. Some people are genuinely afraid of bugs, and that fear can make them act quickly and without thinking. Maybe we can start by offering easy, harmless solutions, like teaching them how to catch a spider in a glass and release it outside, instead of killing it.
That's a good point. People might be more willing to try non-harmful solutions if it feels easy and safe. And maybe over time, they'll realize that they don't have to hurt bugs to live comfortably.
Exactly. It's about showing them that there are options, and those options are just as effective. The more we make it simple and accessible, the more likely people will start changing their habits.
I like that. If we show people that respecting bugs doesn't have to be hard, they might start to see them in a new light. It's a small change, but it could lead to bigger changes in the way we treat all living things.
It's all about creating awareness. Once people realize that bugs are important, they might feel less afraid of them. And that could lead to a more peaceful way of living with nature.
Exactly. Awareness is the key. When people understand the role bugs play, it can completely change how we view them. Instead of seeing them as pests, we start to appreciate their value.
And that shift in perception makes a huge difference.
You know, Katharina, when we think about bugs, it's easy to forget how many different types there are. Not all of them are pests. Some are beneficial, like ladybugs, which eat aphids and help our plants grow.
Right, and don't forget about earthworms. They might not be bugs, but they're part of the ecosystem too. They help aerate the soil and make it fertile. Without them, plants wouldn't be as healthy.
Exactly. It's incredible how many tiny creatures are working behind the scenes. It makes me realize that killing one insect might disrupt a whole process we don't even see.
Yes, and that's why we should think twice before acting. Sometimes, the solutions to our problems might be more about working with nature than against it. For example, instead of using harmful sprays, we could plant herbs like mint or basil, which naturally repel insects.
That's such a simple but effective idea, and it doesn't harm the environment. But it also got me thinking sometimes people kill bugs out of fear. Like, they're afraid of getting bitten or stung. How can we help people with that fear?
I think education is key again. If people understand which bugs are dangerous and which ones aren't, it could reduce a lot of fear. For example, most spiders are harmless, and they're actually more afraid of us than we are of them.
That's true. If we knew more about what bugs do, we might not feel so afraid. I've also heard that just looking at bugs in a calm way can help reduce that fear.
Definitely. Some people even use meditation or mindfulness to face their fears. Maybe if we could help people see bugs as part of the bigger picture, they would feel less scared and more respectful.
That's an interesting point. If we see bugs as part of a healthy environment, we might stop fearing them and start appreciating them instead.
Exactly. It's all about perspective. If we understand their role, we might start thinking, okay, they're here for a reason. Instead of immediately killing them, we could find a way to live with them.
That's true. And when we think about it, bugs don't really want to be in our homes either. They're just trying to survive, just like us.
Exactly. They're not invading on purpose. Most of the time, they're just looking for food or shelter. If we could make our homes less inviting for them without hurting them, that might be the best solution.
Right. I'm starting to think that maybe it's not about getting rid of the bugs, but more about making our spaces less attractive to them. Small changes, like keeping food covered or cleaning up crumbs, could help a lot.
And if we do need to remove them, we could try gently guiding them outside instead of killing them. A lot of people don't realize how easy that can be.
Yeah, even using a piece of paper to slide them into a container and then releasing them outside is simple and doesn't harm them. We just need to change how we think about it.
Exactly, and the more we practice these small, harmless actions, the more natural it will feel. It can become part of our routine, just like making sure we don't leave food out or taking care of our gardens.
It's so true, and if we can start with small actions, maybe over time, we'll develop a bigger respect for nature. Not just for bugs, but for all the creatures that share this planet with us.
Exactly. The small actions we take now can lead to bigger changes down the road. If we start treating bugs with more respect, we might begin to extend that same respect to all creatures, whether they're big or small. And that kind of respect creates a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's so true and matters a lot. You know, Katharina, it's also interesting that bugs have been around for millions of years. They've survived through so many changes. That shows how important they are to the world.
Exactly, they're survivors. They play roles we don't even fully understand yet. For example, some bugs break down dead plants and animals, recycling nutrients back into the soil.
I never thought of it that way. They're like nature's cleanup crew. Without them, we'd have piles of dead matter everywhere.
Totally. And think about how they help us maintain balance in ecosystems. Without them, pest populations would explode, causing damage to crops and even the environment.
Right. Bugs like ladybugs help control pests naturally. They're the unsung heroes of our gardens.
Exactly. And it's not just the bugs we see in our gardens. Bugs like bees and butterflies are essential for pollination. Without them, many of the foods we rely on wouldn't exist.
It's all connected. The bugs in our gardens and the bees in the fields, everything plays a part in keeping the world functioning.
Yes, and they don't ask for much in return. A little respect and care go a long way. We just need to learn how to coexist.
That's the key, isn't it? Coexistence. Instead of seeing bugs as enemies, we need to view them as part of a system we're all part of.
Exactly. Small actions, like avoiding harmful chemicals or using natural methods, can go a long way in helping create a balanced world for all creatures, big and small.
You're right, Katharina. This discussion really highlights the importance of bugs. They're not just pests, but essential players in maintaining balance on Earth.
Exactly. It's about respecting nature and understanding how everything is interconnected. When we treat bugs with care, we're helping protect the environment as a whole.
Small actions, like using natural solutions or learning more about the role of bugs, can make a big impact.
We encourage you to think twice before harming insects. Try gentler methods, and remember, bugs are part of our world too.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts and any stories you have about how you deal with bugs.
Share your experiences with us. Let's keep the conversation going and learn together.
Thanks for listening. Remember, respect for all creatures, big or small, makes the world a better place. See you in the next episode.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.